Welcome to World of Marketing Podcast, a Foster Web Marketing production. Here's your host, Tom Foster.
Hey everybody, it's Tom Foster on the World of Marketing, and today I've got Ben Lund of Rise Marketing as my guest. Ben, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks so much, Tom. Happy to be here.
So Ben, you're a digital marketing agency.
That is correct. Yeah, Rise Marketing Group, digital marketing agency. We've been in business for almost 5 years. 5-year anniversary is coming up in about a month and a half. Super proud of that. And to date, we have about 10 employees, and we work with a variety of businesses, a lot of small, medium-sized businesses, e-commerce, and then some startups as well. And on the marketing side, we do paid ads across platforms, Google, Meta, LinkedIn, you name it. And then SEO, that's kind of like our 1-2 punch. And then underpinning everything is super solid measurement, which we are kind of sticklers to measurement, because without good measurement, you have no idea what's happening and where your dollars are going or what they're doing for you. So
Meta, you said Meta. I'm fascinated with that because we haven't done anything in that world. What are you doing in Meta?
Oh, no. So I'm just more or less the holding company for Facebook and Instagram as they
okay.
doing that
but you're not in the metaverse.
No, I'm not in the metaverse. I don't know. I don't know if I'm gonna...
Yeah. I'm fascinated with that. I have a friend and a longtime friend, Mitch Jackson, who's a very smart lawyer that is totally in the metaverse in the lawyer world, and I'm fascinated with it. So anyway,
all things social ads, Facebook, Instagram. Still a strong fan of Google. I came from Google.
Yeah, that's what you said when we were first talking, that you came from Google. So what did you do there?
Yeah, so I was a principal account manager. I think that was my title. It's been 5 years ago. But yeah, I worked up there in Cambridge, right outside of Boston, and I was there from 2014 to 2018, and I was on the health systems team. And I was the main account manager for some pretty notable clients in the health system space. A lot of health systems in the Boston area, Aspen Dental, Nutrisystem. So really just help them out with their PPC Google ads, understand what their goals are. And then, and even before that, I mean, I've been in the space since 2005, so talk about legacy brands. I was at Yahoo when Yahoo is a thing, and people went to Yahoo.
You got some great experience under your belt.
That was early in my career. I got an awesome opportunity to work at Yahoo on the search side of the business. So I had dedicated clients, and that's what I really learned my chops at Yahoo. And this was before all the automations, when you're just dealing with called bulk sheets of an Excel spreadsheet that's 250,000 rows deep, and you have all these different keywords and copy. You're doing these bulk uploads, and you get these weird errors. You're like, why is this error happening? And manual bids, no automation. But it was great. It was a lot of fun, and that's what started my endeavor into digital marketing, and then just been in the industry, and then capped it off with Google before launching Rise Marketing Group.
It's very cool. My son-in-law, I told you I had 5 kids. My oldest daughter, Tori, is married to Robbie Daly, who works at Google. Awesome. He's in he works on the docs, all the apps and stuff like that. He's out in San Diego. But it's great that you took your experience and you went off and became an entrepreneur.
It's something I feel like for any of the entrepreneurs, and I know a lot listen to this podcast, I feel like it's got to be something deep inside that you just always wanted to do. I feel like there's not a lot of rationale behind taking the leap of faith and being on your own. Be like,
you gotta be a little nuts. Yep.
You work at Google and you have a good salary and benefits. Why are you leaving again?
Yeah,
so you got to be a little nuts. But it's a ton of fun. But yeah, so, I was at Google, and I just had it deep inside of me that I always wanted to start my own business, and the timing was never right because I had young kids. But eventually I just realized the timing's never going to be perfect. Take the leap.
Yeah, good for you.
Worst case that happens, it doesn't work and you go back to get a corporate job, right? You're not going to lose that experience. Best case, you can make a run at it and be your own boss and call the shots and meet some great people and have great conversations as we're having today.
Yeah, well, great job. Good for you. I'm happy to meet you and happy to endorse you and support you, because Lord knows, we need good people in this business, helping small businesses out there with their marketing. And, there's a lot of bad marketers out there that are hurting businesses. And, you coming with all your experience and building, what you've built obviously shows, what you're doing, and you do it well. So do you have a particular niche or a particular focus, industry that you work in?
Yeah, so it's and this all happened organic. This isn't really by design. It's just kind of organically where we're getting leads from and where we're having a lot of success. 3 pillars: small businesses, definitely, and that's been from the start. And I'm going to talk about that a little bit more so in a bit. E-commerce, so e-commerce of all sizes, and education has actually been a really interesting niche of some universities.
Like schools?
Schools, continuing education, like we work with an aviation school down in Florida for a couple of years. We work with one of the schools at Georgetown. We're in the Boston area, so we work with some private schools in the Boston area. But I would say of those, small businesses definitely up there. And you brought up a really interesting point, is there are a lot of great marketers out there for small businesses, but there's also a lot that are not that great.
A lot of charlatans out there.
And they can take advantage of the small business. And it's unfortunate because small businesses that, they don't know any better. So they're just paying out these bills. And so many times we'll take over accounts and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm like, what was happening here? And a lot of cleanup. But one thing I really do like about working with small, medium-sized businesses is you can have a true impact on their business. And I know in your experiences as well, you do great marketing and you can see them thrive, that they're hiring, they're growing, and not all because of marketing, but definitely that was a big pillar of that growth. And that's super fulfilling. And you do good by them, they're loyal by you. I mean, you do great work, they're going to stick with you, they're going to refer you out. And we work with some larger companies, but you don't get that same sense of loyalty because, you get a new CMO who has a relationship with another agency and like, Ben, you guys are great, but we're moving in this direction. So there's a few reasons why I really like that small, medium-sized focus. Yeah.
Well, we've had great success. As I told you, in the beginning, I've been doing this for over 20 years. And our niche is lawyers and specifically podiatrists. And that is because of our partnerships that we've developed over the years. Lawyers are an interesting group, but I've come to love them. They're a unique business in and of themselves. And within the lawyer industry, there are different kinds of lawyers, right? You have the personal injury lawyer, which work on contingencies. And, an accident needs to happen in order for them to get business, right? And you have family lawyers, a divorce needs to happen in order for them to get business. DUI lawyers, nobody goes to a lawyer happy, right? Nobody calls a lawyer because they're, woohoo. They're problem solvers. And so some event has to happen for a lawyer so it's a very interesting business to be in. That's why organic works so well. And we talked about this in the beginning. And we don't do e-commerce like you do, right? Whenever we've tried to do that in the past, has never worked out for us because we don't understand it, because we're more focused on organic. Yeah. So tell me a little bit about the e-commerce business, about how you do that.
Yeah, so I think this stems from kind of my background. I've always been supporting e-commerce. So even after Yahoo, this was in the let's call it 2011. I worked at an ad agency called Rim Kaufman Group, which was since acquired by Merkle, but it was a very heavy e-commerce agency. Worked with great brands like Dick's Sporting Goods, Crate and Barrel, and just pretty much like heavy retail focus. So I definitely got a lot of experience there. And then even when I was at Google, we worked with some vitamin supplement companies. And e-commerce is a different beast than, let's say, lead generation. It's a couple things that is just so incredibly important to know is, one, it's highly competitive, especially if you deal with a reseller. Everyone's selling the same Nike shoes or whatever it is. So like, how do you get up above everyone else? How do you compete?
Right. How are you better than the other guy?
Right. And you have relatively tight margins too. So it's not like a lead gen education client where you get a new student and it's like, okay, it's not a small chunk of change like that can really fund some marketing for a while. But each sale, I mean, you're only dealing with maybe 30% margin, 50 if you're lucky. So, I mean, how to really go about that is just to be so dialed in on your marketing. So one, you need solid measurement. And I alluded to this earlier, that we are a stickler when it comes to that. And having that measurement set up to pass values back, in this case, to Google. So Google knows for every click or every 100 clicks, how many sales you driven, how much revenue that's driving. And then you can update your bidding strategies on Google to say, I don't really care about clicks. I care about sales. And not only do I care about sales, I care about getting a certain return on ad spend. And if you can get proper measurement passing back, and then you tell Google of, all right, I need to break even, I need a 2 return on ad spend. So every dollar you spend, you get $2 in return. Then you can do those bidding adjustments to then really hone in on that. Another thing that's super important, and I'll pause here because I feel like I'm going down a rabbit hole, is you need to have a very optimized product feed. And what that is so when you're doing any shopping on Google and you see all those product listings, that pulls directly from a product feed, and it needs to be optimized to match search, how people are searching. And if it's optimized, that's like having a great quality score on your ad, and you can just rank higher without having to pay more. So e-commerce is a very nuanced practice, and it takes a lot of experience. If you go in without much experience, chances are you're just going to burn through some budget until you really know, because it's so competitive out there. But once you get it, you can do quite well with it.
Now, how much does technology play into it? That's
a ton.
Right. Like
absolutely a ton. And, one of the biggest advancements in advertising over the past, I would say 5 years or so is, and this isn't just a Google product, this is also Facebook and Instagram and other platforms, of telling the platforms that I'm not doing a CPC or PPC bid where I'm like, okay, for this product, I'm willing to pay 50 cents per click, and this product, 25 cents, and this product, $2. You're just giving all the platforms the revenue that is coming in pretty much in real time through their direct connections. And then you're telling the systems of like, use your machine learning to find users that are likely to buy from me. And a great example of this is about 15 months ago, Google released a new campaign type called Performance Max. And what Performance Max is a very much AI machine learning campaign where you upload a bunch of assets or products, if this is e-commerce, set up solid measurement, and you tell Google what return on ad spend you're looking for. And then Google will use its algorithms to find your customers across search, YouTube, display, Gmail, and it works. And you're giving control to Google, but it's so important that you're giving Google the proper inputs so that way the machine can learn. And so often we see clients' accounts that we take over, they don't have proper measurements, but they're using AI and machine learning to run their campaigns. It's like, well, how is the machine going to do well? Because you're not passing up the right inputs to it. It's only outputs is a direct influence on what you put into the system. So everything's going AI, machine learning has been, it's only accelerating, and you're just more managing
about AI. Yep.
Yeah.
AI is, what it's all about. And we're integrating AI. AI is very integrated into what we do. It makes our job easier. We use it as the tool that it is. How do you use AI in your business?
Yeah, so I would say the biggest that we use is more for automated bidding and leveraging each of the platforms to do the bidding for us to get that business outcome. But I mean, there's so many new advances. I mean, Microsoft ChatGPT is made a ton of waves, and good for them. I mean, I feel like they kind of caught Google off guard a little bit. And then now Microsoft's like, hey, look at this cool tool that we built out. And then Google's like, oh, shoot. We're going to release Google Bard.
And
so now
I hear it's not even close.
I know. So kudos to Microsoft, the underdog. I mean, Bing is a great engine out there. And I think it just kind of put it back on the limelight a little bit, and they continue to develop. And now folks are migrating to use those AI tools, which can be helpful for content, but you always need human oversight to make sure it's valuable and quality content. But it is very interesting to see for how that's going to evolve over the years. And I mean, that's one of the many things I love about marketing. I'm sure you could say the same is every year is different. Every quarter is different. It's always evolving. It's not a stale industry. That's for sure.
No. And speaking of, we have GA4 right here now, right?
And that also uses a lot of AI machine learning type signals to understand the reports that you like to look at. And they're focused more on users that engage with your site, not just straight out sessions. So GA4, everyone, just a plug right there. If you're still in Universal Analytics, get upgraded to GA4. It doesn't take that long. If you don't know how,
get with your web guy. And if your web guy doesn't know what you're talking about, you're with the wrong web guy.
That's right. Yes. That is very true. That is very true.
So Ben, what kind of podcast or conference, what do you follow?
Yeah. So in terms of podcasts, I like just higher level, like businessy ones. I don't listen to a lot of search podcasts or as many PPC podcasts, although I do love Search Engine Land and Search Engine Journal. I follow them on their site pretty much daily. In terms of podcasts, I do like general entrepreneur type podcasts. Like even Tim Ferriss has been like one of my top ones over the years. Just as an entrepreneur, it's just helpful to understand of people that have been successful and why were they successful. Another one that I really like is How I Built This with Guy Raz on NPR, which I feel like any entrepreneur that's listening to this, you guys can relate to, because when you go and take the jump into entrepreneurship, it's never an easy path. It's you have the high times, you have the low times, as long as you're trending up, and it's really inspiring to hear some of their stories.
I got one for you if you don't know it. Business Made Simple, Donald Miller's podcast. He's the guy that wrote Story Brand, Building a Story Brand.
Okay. Oh, there you go.
You know this?
No, I do not know.
Well, you need to read this book, Donald Miller, Building a Story Brand. Everybody needs to read this book. It's fantastic. And he's just written a new book that I am reading right now. But the podcast that he does is Business Made Simple. And the book is, hold on one second, How to Grow Your Small Business, which I recommend. And I just started it, but it's fantastic. Awesome. How to Grow Your Small Business. And that's something for you too, Ben.
I would definitely, I love all that. I would love that. And then only because we're sharing books right now.
Yeah.
You ever heard Dan Kennedy?
Yes, of course.
I just was introduced to him.
I'm a student of Dan Kennedy, of course.
Oh, I love his stuff. Someone it just kind of came up in like my news feed. I'm like, Dan Kennedy. I'm like, let me check this out. And then I bought one book and then another and another and another. And he's like he's the godfather of performance
of marketing.
Marketing.
Yes. I mean, he's the one that, I mean, he is the go-to for all marketing. And of course, I've met him multiple times. He's
interesting. How was he in person? Just curious.
He's a curmudgeon. Totally.
Yeah.
Total curmudgeon. But he's brilliant.
Yeah.
And no, he's a very nice man. But, you know, he's basically, because he's done it all, he has won, he has lost, he has won, he has lost, he has nearly died twice. And he's back now. Now he's with Russell Brunson. And they're kicking ass. So I would, if you've never been to one of the conferences, I think they got one coming up. You should go. I know that he's just started a new mastermind. You should get involved in it. They're very expensive, but if you love that what you're reading, he is. Like I said, I'm a student of Dan Kennedy. I've implemented. That is, I credit Dan Kennedy with my success. So
wow, that's an endorsement.
Yes.
That is. I have been reading at least 4 or 5 of his books, and they're page turners, and it's very insightful. And and he's also a little bit. I don't know if ruthless is the right word.
Oh, he is ruthless, but that's how you have to be.
But you have to be. You can't.
As an entrepreneur, and he's
a charity as a business, because then you're just going to hurt yourself and your employees and your team. When you think you're doing a good thing by giving favors left and right, you're killing yourself. And if someone can't afford your business, you got to move on from them. Like, you can't.
He's looking out for you.
Yes.
That's how you got to look at it. He's ruthless. He's ruthlessly honest. And that's the thing, is that he doesn't pull any punches. He tells you like it is.
Yep.
Anyway. Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you have any, you told me you had young children?
Yes, we have 3 kids. We have almost a 12-year-old. He'll be 12 April 1. So yeah, Griffin, and then Autumn is 9, and then we have 3. The caboose of the family. He is a 1.5-year-old.
Oh, congratulations!
So we're spanning the gamut there, but yeah, a busy household, but I love it, and and the older kids are super.
You got a young business, which is very exciting. And you've got your young family. That's fantastic. Good for you, Ben. I wish you the best success. And I want you to hang out when we're done here, but the URL is Rise Marketing.
Very close. So it's the company's Rise Marketing Group. If you just Google that, you'll find it. And the URL is risemkg.com. If anyone's listening, wants to chat, happy to schedule some time.
Okay. And you guys help small businesses, e-commerce, and education. So
that's correct.
That's fantastic. Okay, well, Ben, it's been fantastic having you on the World of Marketing podcast. I appreciate your time, brother, and it's been great to meet you.
Thanks so much, Tom. Pleasure to be here.
All right, hang out. All right, everybody. It's been great having you. We'll see you next time on the World of Marketing.